Valve is aiming to release a $1,200 VR headset by the end of 2025, is claimed. Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming. I thought VR is like dead. Like, I'm sorry. I know there's a niche following that if you're in, you're in. Dude, I have nearly every headset here. I don't want to put something on my head. Dude, I want to sit on the couch, put my feet up, play on the big screen, or sit in my computer chair and play on my laptop or play on my monitors here. Like, I'm so tired of these big bulky things. And until they become like glasses, I don't know if they'll ever pull me back in. There's definitely some cool experiences that you can't get outside of VR. So we'll see where this one lies, though. But a new rumor has surfaced that suggests Valve is releasing a new VR headset later this year for around $1,200. The rumor comes from Gabefollower, who has had a good track record for leaking Valve-related information. According to the account, they've confirmed that several people that Valve is aiming to release a new standalone wireless headset, which is codenamed Descartes, by the end of 2025 to compete with MetaQuest 3, let's be honest. Gabefollower continued to say that the current price of the headset as a part of a bundle is $1,200 and will include some in-house games. So you got something packaged in there, right? Despite the high cost, the consumers, however, it was said that Valve is still likely to lose money per unit. But Valve made the decision to ensure that the device offered the best possible experience. Quote, it will be using the same SteamOS from Steam Deck, but adapted for virtual reality. One of the core features is the ability to play flat screen, which defeats the whole purpose of playing in VR. I'm just saying. But flat screen games that are already playable on Steam Deck, but in VR on big screen without a PC, end quote. Cool feature, but again, it's not why I have a VR headset. As for whether or not $1,200 VR headset would work well in today's current climate remains to be seen, but at the price point, it doesn't exactly open VR up further to a broader audience. That being said, VR enthusiasts would likely wholeheartedly welcome a new top-of-the-line wireless headset. Again, VR enthusiasts. You're not going to bring in newcomers, though, Michael.
I think if anyone's getting a newcomer, yeah, the price is a little exorbitant, but it's got that Valve name, right? And anytime there's that Valve name, you get people in, right? Like, I remember when the Steam Deck came out, and the price was kind of high for a handheld, but a lot of people were like, I love Valve, I love Steam, I'm gonna hop on board. They have a lot of fans, and so I think this will actually do better than people expect with the 4-digit price point, just because it's got that Valve name to it, right? And people are gonna say, look, I've been maybe thinking about VR. Yeah, that's a lot. I'm going to save up because I want something from Valve, right? I want to support Valve. So I think this is actually going to do better than expected. But yeah, I was with you. I thought VR was dead. We sort of plateaued at VR. I don't think that we're at that point that we thought we were, right? I remember it was like almost 2 decades ago we started talking about like, look at VR. Like imagine what this could be. And you'd see movies and they'd be like set in 2026 and the VR was absolutely crazy. We're not near that point yet, right? It's not that full inclusive experience that you're seeing in some movies that we were expecting. It's like, all right, like, you know, the movement's still a little janky, but it's like we're getting there. You don't have that full body emotion where, you know, you're going to be able to get in shape walking around in video games. So I think we're not as close to VR being like where I would be like, I'm hyped, I'm in as I want to be, but I think this will do well just because of that Valve name, Drew.
Okay, let me ask you this. What's your VR history look like? Have you been in the world of VR before, or would this be like a brand new experience for you?
So I never hopped into the world of owning a VR headset, but I've had there's a couple places they popped up in a couple places I used to live where they're basically like VR arcades, right? You go in, they'd have like 6 VR headsets, you'd pay like $50 for an hour, and then you'd have like access to like a couple hundred games you can kind of pick. That's usually where my go-to was, right? Like I'll go pay like $50 every couple months, play some VR for an hour, have some fun, and then be like, all right, that was cool. Like, I don't need to pay $400 for this, right? Like, I'll do it like once a month with friends, a little bit cheaper for everybody. That's kind of what my experience was, Drew. Never want to hop in, but there's definitely been some VR arcades that I think are actually really, really cool, and they're a ton of fun if you want to experience VR and not pay $1,200.
Well, which is fair, right? I've got the Quest 2. I did not decide to go with Quest 3. I'm not upgrading just because I'm starting to, for me personally, fade out of the VR. I had the PSVR. I got the PSVR 2, right? Thanks to our friends over at PlayStation for that one. But again, even PlayStation's like, we're done. Like they're not even committed to this. And here comes Valve with a new one. This is a little shocking to me. I think I'd rather see them work on Half-Life 3.